So they sleep with Ladarius. Ladarius get them pregnant, and when they tell Ladarius like, "Hey, I'm pregnant," Ladarius tells them, "Hey, don't have that baby." Like there's a lot of instances I know Ladarius and them be telling them, "Don't have that baby. If you have that baby, I'm not going to support the baby. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to be there." But whether they do, they still go ahead and want to proceed with the pregnancy, right? My body, my choice. Whether it's because of religious reasons, whatever the case may be, they go through and they have the baby, and then right after they have the baby, when they realize like, oh, this is real, then they have to, thank you, Miss Cherise, for the roses. Then 9 weeks later, they at the city hall. They telling everybody that, oh, Ladarius ain't this, that, and the third, but
He's
Ladarius
a
told you not
deadbeat.
to have the baby. Why
Yeah,
did you go ahead with the baby?
he's labeled as a deadbeat when that's not the case. And to me, it's not only it's irresponsible at the minimum. At the far end of the spectrum, it's very tragic because you're bringing a life into a situation where they basically don't have any opportunity. They're put in a situation where they only have one parent because you didn't have two willing participants in the creation of this child. Well, you had two willing participants in the creation of this child physically, but not anything morally or ethical was put forth before the conception of this child. It's ridiculous in a lot of cases. And this is one thing that happens in the Black community that needs to be highlighted that nobody chooses to highlight. When we speak about deadbeat fathers and women having children outside of wedlock and men not taking care of children, it's never brought up that a lot of these women are having children by men who explicitly tells them, and they understand that these men don't want to have children by them, but they still take it upon themselves to bring these children into the world, and no one ever speaks about it.
And that's my thing. So the same way, like you said, because at the end of the day, right? If she wants to have, oh my gosh, my bad, Miss Sharice, I meant to put hearts. If she wants to have the baby, OG, it's all. If she's pregnant, like you said, whether she wants to proceed or not proceed, it's all on her. Because we people rarely talk about the instances where the man does want to have the baby, but she doesn't want to have the baby, so she gets rid of the baby. But no, but like they don't see that in the same light as the man saying, when the man says, "I don't want to have the baby," now you're neglecting responsibility. Now you're being a deadbeat in this, that, and the third. So the same way you say, "My body, my choice," his life, his choice, right? I just think that's fair. I'm not saying I'm not condoning. I'm not saying that men should be going out here impregnating all these different women and then just being sexually irresponsible and then just trying to say don't have the baby. But like both parties engaged in negligent behavior. So if
Exactly.
one party say nay, it's nay. But if the woman says nay, it's nay. But if the man says nay, it's a problem. Make that
It's
make
it,
sense.
yeah, it's hypocritical for real. It's hypocritical, and it really doesn't. It makes sense because it it's been taking place since the beginning of man, basically. So that's the only reason that it makes sense or it makes any kind of logic. But like I tell people that work for me all the time, just because you've been doing something a certain way for a long time, that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it correct. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're operating in a capacity where the shit we doing just don't make any logic. And that's why we are in the position we in our community right now. You telling me that a woman has to right to terminate a pregnancy, whether she wants to, whether the man wants to her to or not, but the man doesn't have any say so in the matter at all. It just doesn't make any sense. And in no other situation or anything that we encounter in our society right now would this be looked at in the same light. But because it's been this way for so long, we look at it like it makes sense, and it doesn't. It's illogical.
It's very
And
illogical.
somebody in the comments say the man made his choice. That's a ridiculous statement to even make because no one lays down and expects to have a child 100% of the time. No, so all of that, oh, if you didn't want to have a baby, you shouldn't have had sex. That's bullshit. No one, female or male, has sex with the intentions of procreating 100% of the time. That's why we had to come up with the idea of casual sex. And a lot of people are too young to even know when they coined that phrase. But I remember in the 80s when they coined the phrase casual sex, because it was very taboo at one time for men and women to be engaging outside of having sex outside of marriage. And not saying it didn't take place, but when you had these young girls that was ending up pregnant in these outside of wedlock, it was frowned upon. Back in the day, you got, if a girl got pregnant and she won't marry, they send her ass off to go live with the uncle and the aunt out of town or something. You know what I'm saying? It won't like it is now.
Someone said, someone said, uh, we both know that men will walk anytime. Mahogany, look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. This is what I always say. Okay, as a, I mean, I'm gonna speak to the situation, but just in life in general, if you're a person that has something to lose, you should be living your life. You should be walking this earth operating as if you have something to lose. And my thing when it comes to sex, woman, y'all have more to lose in this situation. So, Mahogany, the same way you said that you know a man, there's a possibility that he can just walk away. If you know going into this situation that you're the one that has more to lose, you should be operating like you have more to lose. You should not be having unprotected sex with a man that you don't want to have a baby by. You probably I'm not gonna go as far as to say you shouldn't be sleeping with a man you don't want to possibly have a baby by, but like, why are you having unprotected sex? You okay? Forget about even pregnancy. What can possibly come out of having unprotected sex? STDs, STIs, pregnancy. So
Nothing positive.
you're subjecting yourself to all three of those things when you have unprotected sex with someone, and you have more to lose. You're the one that's going to have to walk around with a child in your stomach for 9 months. He's not going to have to do that. So you should be the one that's operating like you have more to lose. And to the ladies in here, well, he should put a condom on. Listen, ladies, we're not going to do that. Okay, I'm not going for that argument. As a woman, a man can only insert himself inside of you raw if you allow it, and clearly a lot of you are allowing it, because you to be honest, you that's how a lot of you women would rather prefer it be that way. It feels better for y'all too. Let's really talk about it.